long time. Okay. Yeah. And howdy, everyone. Welcome to the Other Books, number 8. Howdy, Andrew. Howdy, GR. Oh, what a beautiful day, eh? All right. Someone was complaining about the extra long premiere beginning for these videos. I like the drama music myself, but hey, more power to you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell thingy so you get notifications half an hour after we start. And, well, that's just the way it works. Today we're continuing on in the book of Jasher, one of the other books, starting with chapter 22, going to chapter 23, and rounding it out with chapter 24. Got stuff stuck in my teeth. Nobody needed to hear that. I apologize. Let's go ahead and pray in, and then we will get rolling. Heavenly Father, thank you very much for giving us this time together so that we can cover the book of Jasher. We know there's a few books that are mentioned in the Bible that we would like to read, and we'll get them covered here in the other books. We ask you to pour out your spirit of discernment, knowledge, understanding on everybody that's here now and in the future so that we can get the message and clarification that we need on the information provided. We thank you for that. We would also ask for you to continue moving people to seek you out, and if you would use us as the planters of those seeds or the tender of those sprouts, we would ask you to do that and work through us in all to your glory. We thank you for that. Bless you. In Jesus Yeshua's name, amen. Okay. Somebody said they wanted to start. Hold on. You know what? I think we can make that smaller. Can we make that smaller?
Oh, please make me smaller.
Yeah. There we go. All right. So we got that. Let's go here. And then I got to get this and click that. Click that. Click this. That. Come back here and hit that. Hey, it worked. Okay. As you wish.
Okay, are we ready? And Ishmael then rose up and took his wife and his children and his cattle and all belonging to him. And he journeyed from there, and he went to his father in the land of the Philistines. And Abraham related to Ishmael his son the transaction with the first wife that Ishmael took, according to what she did. And Ishmael and his children dwelt with Abraham many days in that land. And Abraham dwelt in the land of the Philistines a long time. And the days increased and reached 26 years. And after that, Abraham with his servants and all belonging to him went from the land of the Philistines and removed to a great distance. And they came near to Hebron, and they remained there. And the servants of Abraham dug wells of water, and Abraham and all belonging to him dwelt by the water. And the servants of Abimelech, king of the Philistines, heard the report that Abraham's servants had dug wells of water in the borders of the land. And they came and quarreled with the servants of Abraham, and they robbed them of the great well which they had dug. And Abimelech, king of the Philistines, heard of this affair, and he with Phicol, the captain of his hosts, and 20 of his men came to Abraham. And Abimelech spoke to Abraham concerning his servants, and Abraham rebuked Abimelech concerning the well of which his servants had robbed him. And Abimelech said to Abraham, As the Lord liveth, who created the whole earth, I did not hear of the act which my servants did unto thy servants until this day. And Abraham took 7 ewe lambs and gave them to Abimelech, saying, Take these, I pray thee, from my hands, that it may be a testimony for me that I dug this well. And Abimelech took the 7 ewe lambs which Abraham had given to him, for he had also given him cattle and herds in abundance. And Abimelech swore to Abraham concerning the well. Therefore he called that well Beersheba, for there they both swore concerning it. And they both made a covenant in Beersheba. And Abimelech rose up with Phicol, the captain of his host, and all his men. And they returned to the land of the Philistines. And Abraham and all belonging to him dwelt in Beersheba, and he was in that land a long time. And Abraham planted a large grove in Beersheba, and he made it to 4 gates facing the 4 sides of the earth. And he planted a vineyard in it, so that if a traveler came to Abraham, he entered any gate which was in his road, and remained there, and ate, and drank, and satisfied himself, and then departed. For the house of Abraham was always open to the sons of men that passed and repassed, who came daily to eat and drink in the house of Abraham. And any man who had hunger and came to Abraham's house, Abraham would give him bread that he might eat and drink and be satisfied. And any one that came naked to his house, he would clothe with garments as he might choose, and give him silver and gold, and make known to him the Lord who had created him in the earth. This did Abraham all his life. And Abraham and his children and all belonging to him dwelt in Beersheba, and he pitched his tent as far as Hebron. And Abraham's brother Nahor and his father and all belonging to them dwelt in Haran, for they did not come with Abraham to the land of Canaan. And children were born to Nahor, which Milcah the daughter of Haran, and sister to Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare to him. And these are the names of those that were born to him: Uz, Buz, Kemuel, Kesed, Kazo, Pildash, Tidlaf, and Bethuel, being 8 sons. These are the children of Milcah, which she bare to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And Nahor had a concubine, and her name was Reumah, and she also bare to Nahor Zebach, Gekash, Takash, and Maacah, being 4 sons. And the children that were born to Nahor were 12 sons, besides his daughters, and they also had children born to them in Haran. And the children of Uz, the firstborn of Nahor, were Abi, Chereth, Gadim, Melas, and Deborah their sister. And the sons of Buz were Berachel, Naamath, Shiva, and Madanu. And the sons of Kemuel were Aram and Rechab. And the sons of Kesed were Anamlech, Mishay, Benon, and Yiphi. And the sons of Kezar were Pildash, Meki, and Ophir. And the sons of Pildash were Arud, Kamun, Mered, and Moloch. And the sons of Tidlaf were Mushan, Kushan, and Mutzi. And the children of Bethuel were Sekar, Laban, and their sister Rebekah. These are the families of the children of Nahor that were born to them in Haran. And Aram the son of Kemuel and Rechab his brother went away from Haran, and they found a valley in the land by the river Euphrates. And they built a city there, and they called the name of the city after the name of Petor the son of Aram. That is Aram Naharaim unto this day. And the children of Kesed also went to dwell where they could find a place. And they went and they found a valley opposite to the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they there built themselves a city, and they called the name at that city Kesed, after the name of their father. That is the land Kasdim to this day. And the Kasdim dwell in that land, and they were fruitful and multiplied exceedingly. And Terah, father of Nahor and Abraham, went and took another wife in his old age, and her name was Pelilah. And she conceived and bare him a son, and called his name Zoba. And Terah lived 25 years after he begat Zoba. And Terah died in that year, and that is in the 35th year of the birth of Isaac, son of Abraham. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and he was buried in Haran. And Zobah, the son of Terah, lived 30 years, and he begat Aram, Achlis, and Merik. And Aram, son of Zobah, son of Terah, had 3 wives, and he begat 12 sons and 3 daughters. And the Lord gave to Aram, the son of Zobar, riches and possessions, and abundance of cattle and flocks and herds, and the man increased greatly. And Aram, the son of Zobar, Zobah, and his brother and all his household journeyed from Haran, and they went to dwell where they should find a place, for their property was too great to remain in Haran, for they could not stop in Haran together with their brethren, the children of Nahor. And Aram, the son of Zobah, went with his brethren, and they found a valley at a distance toward the eastern country, and they dwelt there. And they also built a city there, and they called the name thereof Aram, after the name of their eldest brother, that is Aram Zobah, to this day. And Isaac, the son of Abraham, was growing up in those days, and Abraham, his father, taught him the way of the Lord, to know the Lord, and the Lord was with him. And when Isaac was 37 years old, Ishmael, his brother, was going about with him in the tent. And Ishmael boasted of himself to Isaac, saying, I was 13 years old when the Lord spoke to my father to circumcise us, and I did according to the word of the Lord, which he spoke to my father. And I gave my soul unto the Lord, and I did not transgress his word, which he commanded my father. And Isaac answered Ishmael, saying, Why dost thou boast to me about this, about a little bit of flesh, which thou didst take from thy body, concerning which the Lord commanded thee? As the Lord liveth, the God of my father Abraham, if the Lord should say unto my father, Take now thy son Isaac, and bring him up an offering before me, I would not refrain, but I would joyfully accede to it. And the Lord heard the word that Isaac spoke to Ishmael, and it seemed good in the sight of the Lord, and he thought to try Abraham in this matter. And the day arrived when the sons of God came and placed themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with the sons of God before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said to Satan, What is thy word to me concerning all the children of the earth? And Satan answered the Lord and said, I have seen all the children of the earth who serve thee and remember thee when they require anything from thee. And when thou givest them the thing which they require from thee, they sit at their ease and forsake thee, and they remember thee no more. Hast thou seen Abraham, the son of Terah, who at first had no children? And he served thee and erected altars to thee wherever he came. And he brought up offerings upon them. And he proclaimed thy name continually to all the children of the earth. And now that his son Isaac is born to him, he has forsaken thee. He has made a great feast for all the inhabitants of the land. And the Lord he has forgotten. For amidst all that he has done, he brought thee no offering, neither burnt offering nor peace offering, neither ox, lamb, nor goat of all that he killed on the day that his son was weaned. Even from the time of his son's birth till now, being 37 years, he built no altar before thee, nor brought any offering to thee, for he saw that thou dost give what he requested before thee, and he therefore forsook thee. And the Lord said to Satan, How thou thus considered my servant Abraham? For there is none like him upon the earth, a perfect and upright man before me, one that feareth God and avoideth evil. As I live, were I to say unto him, Bring up Isaac thy son before me, he would not withhold him from me. Much more if I told him to bring up a burnt offering before me from his flock or herds. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Speak then now unto Abraham as thou hast said, and thou wilt see whether he will not this day transgress and cast aside thy words. At that time the word of the Lord came to Abraham, and he said unto him, Abraham? And he said, Here I am. And he said to him, Take now thy son, thine only son, whom thou lovest, even Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which shall be shown to thee, for there wilt thou see a cloud and the glory of the Lord. And Abraham said within himself, How shall I separate my son Isaac from Sarah his mother, in order to bring him up for a burnt offering before the Lord? And Abraham came into the tent, and he sat before Sarah his wife, and he spoke these words to her. My son Isaac is grown up, and he has not for some time studied the service of his God. Now tomorrow I will go and bring him to Shem and Eber his son, and there he will learn the ways of the Lord, for they will teach him to know the Lord, as well as to know that when he prayeth continually before the Lord, he will answer him. Therefore there will he will know the way of serving the Lord is God. And Sarah said, Thou hast spoken well. Go, my Lord, and do unto him as thou hast said. But remove him not as a great distance from me, neither let him remain there too long, for my soul is bound within his soul. And Abraham said unto Sarah, My daughter, let us pray to the Lord our God, that he may do good with us. And Sarah took her son Isaac, and he abode all that night with her, and she kissed and embraced him, and gave him instructions till morning.
Verse 9 of Jasher 23. And she said to him, O my son, how can my soul separate itself from thee? And she still kissed him and embraced him, and she gave Abraham instructions concerning him. And Sarah said to Abraham, O my Lord, I pray thee, take heed of thy son, and place thine eyes over him, for I have no other son nor daughter but him. Forsake him not. If he be hungry, give him bread, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. Do not let him go on foot, neither let him sit in the sun. Neither let him go by himself in the road, neither force him from whatever he may desire. But do unto him as he may say to thee. And Sarah wept bitterly the whole night on account of Isaac, and she gave him instructions till morning. And in the morning, Sarah selected a very fine and beautiful garment from those garments which she had in the house that Abimelech had given to her. And she dressed Isaac, her son, therewith, and she put a turban upon his head, and she enclosed a precious stone in the top of the turban. And she gave them provision for the road, and they went forth. And Isaac went with his father Abraham, and some of their servants accompanied them to see them off the road. And Sarah went out with them, and she accompanied them upon the road to see them off. And they said to her, Return to the tent. And when Sarah heard the words of her son Isaac, she wept bitterly. And Abraham, her husband, wept with her, and their son wept with them a great weeping. Also, those who went with them wept greatly. And Sarah caught hold of her son Isaac, and she held him in her arms, and she embraced him, and continued to weep with him. And Sarah said, Who knoweth if after this day I shall ever see thee again? And they still wept together. And Abraham, Sarah, and Isaac, and all those that accompanied them on the road wept with them. And Sarah afterward turned away from her son, weeping bitterly, and all her men servants and maid servants returned with her to the tent. And Abraham went with Isaac his son to bring him up as an offering before the Lord, as he had commanded him. And Abraham took of his young men with him Ishmael the son of Hagar, and Eleazar his servant. And they went together with them, and whilst they were walking in the road, the young men spoke these words to themselves. And Ishmael said to Eleazar, Now my father Abraham is going with Isaac to bring him up for a burnt offering to the Lord, as he commanded him. Now when he returneth, he will give unto me all that he possesses to inherit after him, for I am his firstborn. And Eleazar answered Ishmael and said, Surely Abraham did cast thee away with thy mother, and swear that thou shouldst not inherit anything of all he possesses. And to whom will he give all that he has with all his treasures, but unto me, his servant, who has been faithful in his house, who has served him night and day, and has done all that he desired me? To me will he bequeath at his death all that he possesses. And whilst Abraham was proceeding with his son Isaac along the road, Satan came and appeared to Abraham in the figure of a very aged man, humble and of contrite spirit. And he approached Abraham and said to him, Art thou silly or brutish, that thou goest to do this thing this day to thine only son? For God gave thee a son in thy latter days and thy old age. And wilt thou go and slaughter him this day because he committed no violence? And wilt thou cause the soul of thine only son to perish from the earth? Dost thou not know and understand this thing cannot be from the Lord? For the Lord cannot do unto such a man evil upon the earth to say to him, Go slaughter thy child. And Abraham heard this and knew that it was the word of Satan, who endeavored to draw him aside from the way of the Lord. But Abraham would not hearken to the voice of Satan, and Abraham rebuked him, so that he went away. And Satan returned and came to Isaac, and he appeared unto Isaac in the figure of a young man, comely and well favored. And he approached Isaac and said unto him, Dost thou not know and understand that thy old silly father bringeth thee to the slaughter for this day for naught? Now, therefore, my son, do not listen nor attend to him, for he is a silly old man, and let not thy precious soul and beautiful figure be lost from the earth. And Isaac heard this, and said unto Abraham, Hast thou heard, my father, that which this man has spoken? Even thus has he spoken? And Abraham answered his son Isaac, and said to him, Take heed of him, and do not listen to his words, nor attend to him, for he is Satan, endeavoring to draw us aside this day from the commands of God. And Abraham still rebuked Satan, and Satan went from them. And seeing he could not prevail over them, he hid himself from them. And he went and passed before them in the road. And he transformed himself to a large brook of water in the road. And Abraham and Isaac and his two young men reached that place. And they saw a brook large and powerful as the mighty waters. And they entered the brook and passed through it. And the waters at first reached their legs. And they went deeper in the brook, and the waters reached up to their necks. And they were all terrified on account of the water. And whilst they were going over the brook, Abraham recognized that place, and he knew that there was no water there before. And Abraham said to his son Isaac, I know this place in which there was no brook nor water. Now therefore it is this Satan who does all this to us, to draw us aside this day from the commands of God. And Abraham rebuked him and said unto him, The Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, begone from us, for we go by the commands of God. And Satan was terrified at the voice of Abraham. And he went away from them, and the place became dry land as it was at the first. And Abraham went with Isaac toward the place that God had told him. And on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place at a distance which God had told him of. And a pillar of fire appeared to him that reached from the earth to heaven, and a cloud of glory upon the mountain, and the glory of the Lord was seen in the cloud. And Abraham said to Isaac, My son, dost thou see in that mountain which we perceive at a distance that which I see upon it? And Isaac answered and said unto his father, I see, and lo, a pillar of fire and a cloud, and the glory of the Lord is seen upon the cloud. And Abraham knew that his son Isaac was accepted before the Lord for a burnt offering. And Abraham said unto Eleazar and unto Ishmael, Do you also see that which we see upon the mountain which is at a distance? And they answered and said, We see nothing more than like the other mountains of the earth. And Abraham knew that they were not accepted before the Lord to go with them. And Abraham said to them, Abide ye here with the ass, whilst I and Isaac my son will go to yonder mount and worship there before the Lord, and then return to you. And Eleazar and Ishmael remained in that place, as Abraham had commanded. And Abraham took wood for a burnt offering, and placed it upon his son Isaac. And he took the fire and the knife, and they both went to that place. And when they were going along, Isaac said to his father, Behold, I see here the fire and wood, And where is the lamb that is to be burnt, the burnt offering before the Lord? And Abraham answered his son Isaac, saying, The Lord has made choice of thee, my son, to be a perfect burnt offering instead of the lamb. And Isaac said unto his father, I will do all that the Lord spoke to thee with joy and cheerfulness of heart. And Abraham again said unto Isaac his son, Is there in thy heart any thought or counsel concerning this, which is not proper? Tell me, my son, I pray thee. O my son, conceal it not from me. And Isaac answered his father Abraham and said unto him, O my father, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is nothing in my heart to cause me to deviate either from the right or to the left from the word that he has spoken to thee. Neither limb nor muscle has moved or stirred at this, nor is there in my heart any thought or evil counsel concerning this. But I am of joyful and cheerful heart in this matter. And I say, Blessed is the Lord who has this day chosen me to be a burnt offering before him. And Abraham greatly rejoiced at the words of Isaac, and they went on and came together to that place that the Lord had spoken of. And Abraham approached to build the altar in that place. And Abraham was weeping, and Isaac took stones and mortar until they had finished building the altar. And Abraham took the wood and placed it in order upon the altar which he had built. And he took his son Isaac and bound him in order to place him upon the wood which was upon the altar to slay him for a burnt offering before the Lord. And Isaac said to his father, Bind me securely, and then place me upon the altar, lest I should turn and move, and break loose from the force of the knife upon my flesh, and thereof profane the burnt offering. And Abraham did so. And Isaac still said to his father, O my father, when thou shalt have slain me and burnt me for an offering, take with thee that which shall remain of my ashes, to bring to Sarah my mother, and say to her, This is the sweet-smelling savor of Isaac. But do not tell her this, if she should sit near a well or upon any high place, lest she should cast her soul after me and die. And Abraham heard the words of Isaac, and he lifted up his voice and wept when Isaac spoke these words. And Abraham's tears gushed down upon Isaac his son, and Isaac wept bitterly. And he said to his father, Hasten now, O my father, and do with me the will of the Lord our God as he has commanded thee. And the hearts of Abraham and Isaac rejoiced at this thing which the Lord had commanded them. But the eye wept bitterly, whilst the heart rejoiced. And Abraham bound his son Isaac, and placed him on the altar upon the wood. And Isaac stretched forth his neck upon the altar before his father. And Abraham stretched forth his hand to take the knife, to slay his son as a burnt offering before the Lord. At that time the angels of mercy came before the Lord and spake to him concerning Isaac, saying, O Lord, thou art merciful and compassionate, King over all that thou hast created in heaven and in earth, and thou supportest them all. Give therefore a ransom and redemption instead of thy servant Isaac, and pity and have compassion upon Abraham and Isaac his son, who are this day performing thy commands. Hast thou seen, O Lord, how Isaac, the son of Abraham, thy servant, is bound down to the slaughter like an animal? Now, therefore, let thy pity be roused for them, O Lord. At that time the Lord appeared unto Abraham and called to him from heaven and said unto him, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God in performing this act, and in not withholding thy son, thine only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, a ram was caught in a thicket by his horns. That was the ram which the Lord God had created in the earth in the day that he made earth and heaven. For the Lord had prepared this ram from that day to be a burnt offering instead of Isaac. And this ram was advancing to Abraham when Satan caught hold of him and entangled his horns in the thicket, that he might not advance to Abraham, in order that Abraham might slay his son. Excuse me. And Abraham, seeing the ram advancing to him, and Satan withholding him, fetched him and brought him before the altar. And he loosed his son Isaac from the binding, and he put the ram in his stead. And Abraham killed the ram upon the altar and brought it up as an offering in the place of his son Isaac.
'74. And Abraham sprinkled some of the blood of the ram upon the altar, and he exclaimed and said, "This is in the place of my son, and may this be considered this day as the blood of my son before the Lord." And all that Abraham did on this occasion by the altar, he would exclaim and say, "This is in the room of my son, and may it this day be considered before the Lord in the place of my son." And Abraham finished the whole of the service by the altar, and the service was accepted before the Lord. And it was accounted as if it had been Isaac. And the Lord blessed Abraham and his seed on that day. And Satan went to Sarah, and he appeared to her in the figure of an old man, very humble and meek. And Abraham was yet engaged in the burnt offering before the Lord. And he said unto her, Dost thou not know all the work that Abraham has made with thine only son this day? For he took Isaac and built an altar, and killed him, and brought him up as a sacrifice upon the altar. And Isaac cried and wept before his father, but he looked not at him, neither did he have compassion over him. And Satan repeated these words, and he went away from her. And Sarah heard all the words of Satan, and she imagined him to be an old man from amongst the sons of men who had been with her son, and he had come and told her these things. And Sarah lifted up her voice and wept and cried out bitterly on account of her son. And she threw herself upon the ground, and she cast dust upon her head, and she said, O my son Isaac, my son, oh that I had this day died instead of thee. And she continued to weep, and said, It grieves me for thee, O my son Isaac, that I had died this day in this. Oh, that I had died this day in thy stead. And she still continued to weep, and said, It grieves me for thee, after that I have reared thee and have brought thee up. Now my joy is turning into mourning over thee. I that had a longing for thee, and cried and prayed to God, till I bare thee at 90 years old. And now hast thou served this day for the knife and the fire to be made an offering. But I console myself with thee, my son, in its being the word of the Lord, for thou didst perform the command of thy God. For who can transgress the word of our God, in whose hands is the soul of every living creature? Thou art just, O Lord our God, for all thy works are good and righteous. For I also am rejoiced with thy word which thou didst command. And whilst mine eye weepeth bitterly, my heart rejoiceth. And Sarah laid her head upon the bosom of one of her handmaids, and she became as still as a stone. She afterward rose up and went about making inquiries till she came to Hebron, and she inquired of all those whom she met walking in the road, and no one could tell her what had happened to her son. And she came with her maidservants and menservants to Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron, and she asked concerning her son, and she remained there while she sent some of her servants to seek where Abraham had gone with Isaac. They went to seek him in the house of Shem and Eber, and they could not find him, and they sought throughout the land, and he was not there. And behold, Satan came to Sarah in the shape of an old man, and he came and stood before her, and he said unto her, I spoke falsely unto thee, for Abraham did not kill his son, and he is not dead. And when she heard the word, her joy was so exceedingly violent on account of her son, that her soul went out through joy. She died and was gathered to her people. And when Abraham had finished his service, he returned with his son Isaac to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and they came home. And Abraham sought for Sarah, and he could not find her. And he made inquiries concerning her, and they said unto him, She went as far as Hebron to seek you both where you had gone, for thus she was informed. And Abraham and Isaac went to her to Hebron, and when they found that she was dead, they lifted up their voices and wept bitterly over her. And Isaac fell upon his mother's face and wept over her. And he said, O my mother, how hast thou left me, and where hast thou gone? Oh, how hast thou left me? And Abraham and Isaac wept greatly, and all their servants wept with them on account of Sarah, and they mourned over her a great and heavy mourning. Chapter 24. And the life of Sarah was 127 years, and Sarah died. And Abraham rose up from before his dead to seek a burial place to bury his wife Sarah, and he went and spoke to the children of Heth, the inhabitants of the land, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you in your land. Give me a possession of a burial place in your land, that I may bury my dead from before me. And the children of Heth said unto Abraham, Behold, the land is before thee, in the choice of our sepulchres bury thy dead, for no man shall withhold thee from burying thy dead. And Abraham said unto them, If you are agreeable to this, go and entreat for me Ephron, the son of Zochar, requesting that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which is in the end of his field, and I will purchase it of him for whatever he desire for it. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth, and they went and called for him. And he came before Abraham, and Ephron said unto Abraham, Behold, all that thou requirest thy servant will do. And Abraham said, No, but I will buy the cave and the field for which thou hast for value, in order that they may be for a possession of a burial place forever. And Ephron answered and said, Behold, the field and the cave are before thee. Give whatever thou desirest. And Abraham said, Only at full value will I buy it from thy hand, and from the hands of those who go in at the gate of thy city, and from the hand of thy seed forever. And Ephron and all his brethren heard this, and Abraham weighed to Ephron 400 shekels of silver in the hands of Ephron, and in the hands of all his brethren. And Abraham wrote this transaction, and he wrote it and testified it with 4 witnesses. And these are the names of the witnesses: Amigal, son of Abishna the Hittite, Adikaram, son of Ashunach the Hivite, Abdon, son of Achiram the Gomerite, Bakdil, the son of Abidish the Zidonite. And Abraham took the book of the purchase and placed it in his treasures, and these are the words that Abraham wrote in the book, namely, that the cave and the field Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite, and from his seed, and from those that go out of his city, and from their seed forever, are to be a purchase to Abraham and to his seed, and to those who go forth from his loins, for a possession of a burial place forever, and that he put a signet to it, and testified it with witnesses. And the field and the cave that was in it, and all the place were made sure unto Abraham, and unto his seed after him, from the children of Heth. Behold, it is before Mamre and Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan. And after this, Abraham buried his wife Sarah there. And that place and all its boundary became to Abraham and unto his seed for a possession of a burial place. And Abraham buried Sarah with pomp, as observed in the interment of kings, and she was buried in very fine and beautiful garments. And at her bier was Shem, his sons Eber and Abimelech, together with Anar, Ashcol, and Mamre, and all the grandees of the land followed her bier. And the days of Sarah were 127 years, and she died. And Abraham made a great and heavy mourning, and he performed the rites of mourning for 7 days. And all the inhabitants of the land comforted Abraham and Isaac, his son, on account of Sarah. And when the days of mourning passed by, Abraham sent away his son Isaac, and he went to the house of Shem and Eber to learn the ways of the Lord and his instructions. And Abraham remained there 3 years. At that time Abraham rose up with all his servants, and they went and returned homeward to Beersheba, and Abraham and all his servants remained in Beersheba. And at the revolution of the year, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, died in that year. He was 193 years old at his death. And Abraham went with his people to the land of the Philistines, and they comforted the whole household and all his servants. And he then turned and went home. And it was after the death of Abimelech that the people of Gerar took Ben-Malech his son, and he was only 12 years old, and they made him lying in the place of his father. And they called name Abimelech after the name of his father, for thus was it custom to do in Gerar. And Abimelech reigned instead of Abimelech his father, and he sat upon his throne. And Lot, the son of Haran, also died in those days, in the 39th year of the life of Isaac. And all the days that Lot lived were 140 years, and he died. And these are the children of Lot that were born to him by his daughters. The name of the firstborn was Moab. The name of the second was Ben-Ami. And the two sons of Lot went and took themselves wives from the land of Canaan, and they bare children to them. And the children of Moab were Ed, Maon, Tarsus, and Canville, 4 sons. These are fathers to the children of Moab unto this day. And all the families of the children of Lot went to dwell wherever they should light upon, for they were fruitful and increased abundantly. And they went and built themselves cities in the land where they dwelt. And they called the names of the cities which they built after their own names. And Nahor, the son of Terah, brother to Abraham, died in those days in the 40th year of the life of Isaac. And all the days of Nahor were 172 years, and he died and was buried in Haran. And when Abraham heard that his brother was dead, he grieved sadly, and he mourned over his brother many days. And Abraham called for Eleazar his head servant to give him orders concerning his house, and he came and stood before him. And Abraham said to him, Behold, I am old, I do not know the day of my death, for I am advanced in days. Now therefore rise up, go forth, and do not take a wife for my son from this place and from this land, from the daughters of Canaanites amongst whom we dwell. But go to my land and to my birthplace, and take from thence a wife for my son. And the Lord God of heaven and earth, who took me from my father's house and brought me to this place, and said unto me, To thy seed will I give this land for an inheritance forever, he will send his angel before thee and prosper thy way, that thou mayest obtain a wife for my son, from my family, and from my father's house. And the servant answered his master Abraham and said, Behold, I go to thy birthplace and to thy father's house to take a wife for thy son from there. But if the woman will be not willing to follow me to this land, shall I take thy son back to the land of thy birthplace? And Abraham said unto him, Take heed that thou bring not my son hither again. For the Lord before whom I have walked, he will send his angel before thee and prosper thy way. And Eleazar did as Abraham ordered him. And Eleazar swore unto Abraham concerning Abraham his master upon this matter. And Eleazar rose up and took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and 10 men from his master's servants with him. And they rose up and went to Haran, the city of Abraham and Nahor, in order to fetch a wife for Isaac, the son of Abraham. And whilst they were gone, Abraham sent to the house of Shem and Eber, and they brought from thence his son Isaac. And Isaac came home to his father's house in Beersheba, whilst Eleazar and his men came to Haran, and they stopped in the city by the watering place. He made his camels to kneel down by the water, and they remained there. And Eleazar, Abraham's servant, prayed and said, O God of Abraham my master, send me, I pray thee, good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master, that thou shalt appoint this day a wife for my master's son from his family. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Eleazar for the sake of Abraham, for the sake of his servant Abraham, and he happened to meet with the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, brother to Abraham, and Eleazar came to her house. And Eleazar related to them all his concerns, that he was Abraham's servant, and they greatly rejoiced at him. And they all blessed the Lord who brought this thing about, and they gave him Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, for a wife for Isaac. And the young woman was of very comely appearance. She was a virgin, and Rebekah was 10 years old in those days. And Bethuel and Laban and his children made a feast on that night. And Eleazar and his men came and ate and drank and rejoiced there on that night. And Eleazar rose up in the morning, he and the men that were with him, and he called to the whole household of Bethuel, saying, Send me away that I may go to my master. And they rose up and sent away Rebekah and her nurse Deborah, the daughter of Uz. And they gave her silver and gold, men servants and maid servants, and they blessed her. And they sent Eleazar away with his men, and the servants took Rebekah, and he went and returned to his master in the land of Canaan. And Isaac took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he brought her into the tent. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of his uncle Bethuel, for a wife.
All righty. That is quite the lesson. We'll put it that way. Look at that. I see smoke coming up from your paper there, GR. You making notes? You're muted.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go back and look at 22, shall we? Okay. So this is basically in the first part of the chapter. It's talking about talking about Abraham's hospitality. Everybody came to Abraham's place.
There was someone else in the scriptures where that was also true.
And where was that?
Job.
It's interesting that this has a lot of similarities to Job
Yes.
right here.
Yes. Well, Job was a descendant of Abraham.
So that, do we have proof for that?
Yeah, he was a son of, he was like a great grandson of Esau. And Esau is son of Isaac.
Right. Abraham's grandson.
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's get to the meat of this.
Okay.
Ishmael taunts his brother, right? I am so awesome in my service of God that I got the snip. I got the foreskin snip when I was 13. What have you done? Right? So, of course, Isaac decides to boast on himself, right?
Mm-hmm. And you uses idle words, but he carried through with them.
I-D-L-E, not I-D-O-L. Idle words. Idle, not idol.
Idle, I-D-L-E.
Right.
Meaningless.
But he follows through with it, like
Mm-hmm.
you said.
Mm-hmm.
So that, right here, and then, of course, we see the gathering in heaven again, which this is also similar to Job. And Satan basically provokes God into this after hearing the conversation between Isaac and Ishmael. Oh yeah, well, what about? I bet he won't. He just forgot about you. What has he done since you blessed him? He hasn't even sacrificed one lamb.
Do we know that for sure, or is that just the liar working?
Wouldn't Yah know that he was lying?
Well, he's the father of lies. That's his language.
Right. But
We don't know.
God says, okay, I'll test him. So get up. You're going to sacrifice Isaac to me. I've heard lots of different speculation on this scripturally from people that only look at scripture. And even though he's upset about it, Abraham still goes through with it.
He trusted him. He knew that there was no human sacrifice required by God.
Or did he believe in the resurrection?
That's what it says, right? It
That-
says that somewhere in the New Testament, right?
He had faith. Yep. And he Abraham, also too, if you look at Witness of the Stars, it's been written. It was written long ago, right? In the sky, we have this tale of the son who's going to be killed and resurrected. So is Abraham thinking to himself, well, I guess that's my son? Which isn't what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be something else entirely different. Anyways, faithful, right?
Right.
That okay, we're skipping. Let's go on into chapter
Okay.
23 since
Hold
we're
on.
talking about 23. Wait,
Hold on. I'm going to be a Gwen.
okay.
Can we go back?
2.
Okay. On number 16, when it was talking about the children born to Nahor and Milcah,
Yes. Okay.
this is a second place where we're seeing that Sarah is Abraham's niece, not his sister or his half
Not his
sister.
direct sister. Right. But the language that they're using doesn't really differentiate. Right. Like in Hispanic culture, even though there's words for uncle and cousin, there's words for cousin, but the cousin of your parents you refer to as an uncle. Right? That's their culture. So
Well, but it says that Sarah was born the daughter of Haran and his
Right.
wife. Or okay.
Milcah.
Daughter of Haran. Yeah.
Yep. All good. All correct.
And Haran was the father of Lot. Not uncle, not cousin, not brother.
Not uncle, grandpa.
Nope. He wasn't his own grandpa. So,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Now let's go to 23. I find this chapter very interesting. And I believe the last time we went over this, we had a big discussion about this with GR. But how is it that Satan is able to transfigure or transform his appearance?
Because the angels
Old man, and then
they
to a
can-
young man, and then to a stream.
because the angels can take on any form they desire
Or are told to.
or are told to. Yes.
Since he's
Whatever.
rebellious, it's probably desire.
Yeah. Whatever is what they think is going to get the job done. Like turning into a big white.
Semi-truck.
Yes.
We'll tell you about that after we're done here, Andrew. I say we, but I mean GR. That is pretty amazing, though. And without any temptation, direct temptation, we'll put it that way, you got Ishmael and Eleazar there. I'm going to be the one to inherit everything. And Eleazar's like, he cast you off. He cast you off and said you'd get nothing. It's coming to me.
Yeah,
Right.
he was there. He was there first.
Yep. He loves me more than you. He didn't cast me away. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. You know, it reminds me of a conversation I had with someone many, many years ago. And what we came up with was don't count your blessings till you're all blessed. Something like that.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. So what are you making out of this? There was something that jumped out at me. Oh, it's in the next chapter, but we'll go on this one. What is this? Okay, how when we look at classical paintings and teachings on Isaac being sacrificed, how is it portrayed?
Him being a little boy.
He's like this, yeah, like a tween or something, like a young little boy. But here it says he's 37.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
37 years old. And it kind of makes sense that it would say that. To me, it makes sense because we're not told per se in Genesis, the book of Genesis, how old he was. It just says he was told to sacrifice his son, so he took him. Now, I believe it does say in Genesis and here that Abraham took the fire with him. Who knew that they had Zippo lighters back then?
They had those torch things.
Well, they did have torches, yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is, so many people think we're smarter than everybody else that's ever been before us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're told there's nothing new under the sun. He had something to start a fire with without going through the whole, right? Starting a fire is some hard work unless you got the fire with you.
Okay. Yeah, it does. But what about the thing with the pillar of fire and then
With
the
the what?
smoke? It's like what we see in Exodus.
The pillar of fire?
Yes. And I
Oh,
see
here, on the mountain.
yeah.
Isn't this the same land that Moses went to?
Well, this is not in what is it? Saudi
Genesis.
Arabia. But it says seeing the pillar of fire and a cloud, okay?
Yeah.
And the glory. And it makes me think about when they were in the wilderness and they were led by wasn't it the cloud or whatever by day and
Cloud by day, fire by
fire
night.
by night. Is this the angel of the Lord that they're saying here?
I believe so. Who was in the burning bush that wasn't burning?
Okay.
Eh,
I used to think it was the great I am. But I'm nowadays I tend to think it was his representative, his agent, the Lord, what do you call it? The angel of the Lord.
see, and there's still all that. Well, Jesus is the angel of the Lord.
But he's not an angel. He's better.
If he's a messenger from his dad, wouldn't he be an angel?
If you consider him messenger, yes,
Right.
but it's like the angels are created differently than us.
I'd say so if you can turn yourself into a creek,
Yeah.
or the appearance of a creek, and able to drown people. So let's see here. Yeah, that's just mind-boggling. The brook. Satan turned into a brook. I'm going to turn into a brook.
Because he couldn't duplicate the great flood.
Right. But once Abraham realized where he was, he's like, there's no creek here. or brook. And then poof, dry land. After he rebukes Satan. Well, that's the other thing. When he rebukes Satan there at the creek, right? Or at the brook, that when he rebukes him there, Satan flees. Aren't we told, resist the devil and he will flee from you? Where is that? Is that in James?
I think so.
Resist devil. Yeah, James 4:7. Submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil and he will flee from you. And then notice too, Satan's holding the ram in the thicket, so he can't be sacrificed.
Yeah. Puts a crown of thorns on him.
Interesting. Thicket. The big thicket in Texas has nothing on this thicket. So let me come back to, he's just stirring the pot. Because after the ram gets sacrificed, he goes, whoop. Okay, that's my teleportation noise. He goes, whoop. And then he's with Sarah as an old man and says, they took your son to sacrifice him. And there's a lot of that. So her son was taken from her. And then we see her wandering town to town. Have you seen my son? Have you seen my son? And, it sounds like today when a child disappears, when the parents are fraught looking everywhere. That's what came to my mind.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice about how, what was it, when they were talking about when he was going to submit himself to be sacrificed, Isaac, okay? That basically it was in the same manner that a lamb does, right? When it,
Willingly.
yes. And they are very peaceful, and they literally do die with a smile on their face. I got pictures I'll share with you later.
Okay. So let's see here. So she's looking and looking, and then he comes and tells her the truth. And it's like the instant that all her stress stops, she's so happy she just dies.
Yeah. Okay, and it says that in our scriptures, okay? And it also says how old she is and why that people just cannot deduce the age of Isaac when this happened and think he was a little boy when she gave birth to him when she was 90. Catch my drift?
Uh-huh.
It's like Common Core math.
Dun, 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 bum, bum, bum. So that is in Genesis chapter 23. She was 127,
Mm-hmm.
which 90 from 127 leaves us how much?
37.
How old was Isaac that this says?
37.
Oh, okay. Math checks. Okay, let's go to 24. And here in chapter 24, Oh, it says it here too, 127. That Abraham goes to buy the burial plot from Ephron the Hittite. And what does that name? What's that name Hephron mean? Ephron, not Heffron.
Hebron? Is that what you're?
No, Ephron.
Oh,
We'll see what that name means. And that could be Heffron, huh? Could be another spelling of Heffron,
mm.
possibly. Okay, I'm not finding it that way. We'll use Google, except not actually Google. Actually, we need Ephron. There. Is that how it's spelled? Oh, I'm spelling it wrong. Helps if you spell it correctly. What does that mean? Let's look at typical Bible. There. That says it's in the Bible. Okay, so, oops.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I got it now. So, Ephron. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now, this isn't the Book of Jubilees, but this says Ephron. The name Ephron means fawn-like.
Oh yeah. Okay. I've got that little book that what is it? Sheba had that he'd paid $5 for
Oh, yeah,
about
yeah.
the naming. I'm gonna go get it and see what it said.
And it's interesting because when we get into the Book of Jubilees, we're going to get some weird stuff living in this land. Weird creatures. While she's looking for that, anything jumping out at you? I know you said you haven't read Jasher before, Andrew, but I think someone wants to go WALK. That
It's too hot. It's too hot for her feet.
I know, man. Oh, you people in Arizona, not in Arizona, you un-Arizonan people will never understand. You'll never understand. The struggle is real. So it's interesting that he's a fawn like in let's see here. Hittites. Let's see. What's children of Heth?
Okay. I can't find that book, but I found another one.
Well, it's interesting. The children of Heth means terror.
Oh boy. Yeah. Hittites, huh? Yeah.
There's some interesting things in this chapter. So, Ephron, the fawn-like. And what is that in Greek? Pan?
No, Pan was like half goat.
Half goat? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Half fawn.
Okay, it's not in here. That particular one's not in.
Oh, a fawn is half goat. So if he's fawn-like, does that mean he's half goat?
Fawn is a young deer.
It can be.
Really, a goat can be called a fawn?
Well, no. The in the Greek, half goat, half man is called the fawn.
Or a satyr?
or a Seder.
Okay. Well, so
Now remember the creatures that come out of the cave in Jubilees,
yeah,
in the book of Jubilees. Those are, it's like, what?
yeah. Those the ones that grab the mules or
Yeah, it's still
the
all
asses
all
or
the
whatever.
donkeys.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew's like, what?
I never heard of this.
Yeah.
Really? Really? Cool. You've got some great reading ahead of you.
Yes, you do. In that. So, okay, this is my question for you. The way this is worded, what does Abraham give of him? It says in verse 7, he weighed to Ephron 400 shekels of silver in the hands of Ephron and in the hands of all his brethren. Is that meaning, since he's buying the permanency of the land, is he giving them all 400 pieces of silver?
Just the ruler, wasn't it?
Well, Ephron's the one whose field the name is in it. But it says him and his brother, him and his brothers. So I'm thinking they all had to get their share.
Okay.
That makes sense, because I mean in 6 it says, I'll buy it from thy hand, and from the hands of those that go in at the gate of the city, and from the hand of thy seed.
So that's what I'm thinking. And it's not like he's short on gold after his shenanigans with Pharaoh and with the other king who just gave him tons of silver and gold to get away from them for his "she's my sister" shenanigans. Did you find it yet?
Did he? I didn't.
You no. Okay. So then we have Lot dies. A whole bunch of people die at the end of this chapter. It's really almost like a transition to a new age. No, not a new age, a new chapter. I don't like the new age. That doesn't sound good. Eh. But the Moabites and the Ammonites increase greatly. Who else? Nahor dies, Abraham's brother. And then we wrap it up with Rebecca. Eleazar gets sent to fetch a bride. And let's see here.
Okay, and this is what we were having problems with that last time that we did this. Until if you read it the way it says, that she was a woman of 10 years age. That doesn't mean she's a little girl. A woman becomes a woman at age 20. I don't care what they say about, well, this is when they go through puberty. No.
No.
The age of accountability and when the frontal lobe matures, which our creator knew this, was 20 and above. She was a woman of 10 years old, which meant that she was 30. And the age difference between her and
Isaac
was
only
the
7 years.
same age difference of Abraham and Sarah.
Just about.
Yeah, 10 years.
It's close. Yeah. So it's very, yeah. The people that push the anything below 20, in my opinion. Anything especially below 18, because they're out there. the people that are trying to get age of consent lowered, how is that holy and set apart? How is that representing someone that says, don't be a part of them, when that's what the surrounding culture does?
Yeah.
No, they're supposed to be holy, which means set apart and separate.
Yeah. Yeah. And regarding her age, I mean, simple logic will tell you that she could, a 10-year-old girl, little girl, would not be able to haul all that water to give the camels a drink.
Well, they only need like a shot glass each.
Oh, stop that. That's just the whiskey.
It's just the whiskey for the camel horses, the
Yeah.
courses.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know what? And you don't do that. Oh, it does say 40 years old, doesn't it? Yep. Very last sentence. Isaac was 40 when he took Rebekah
Mm-hmm.
for a wife. 40 and 30.
Mm-hmm. 10 years.
All right. Okay. Any other observations on this? Questions? I know Andrew's got a ton of them. He's like, what are you guys talking about? Fawns and creatures from the caves and
Oh yeah. I think in Genesis, I think they're referred to as the creatures. They called them mules. Wasn't that, or was that in Jubilees? Who called them mules? Which meant that they were crossbred, cross genetic creatures that took the herd of the donkeys out.
Yep.
They called them. They were called mule.
something like that.
Well, you don't have mules getting on the back of donkeys and riding off.
You doing the tunes? Okay. Anyways, Andrew, thanks for reading. GR, thanks for reading. Everybody, thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Don't forget to tune in next time when things get really crazy. Okay. Everybody, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Love you all. Bye.